Hey guys, 3 years ago, this gun came to our office and within 30 seconds it was sold. Now, I did a video on it back then and we always regretted having sold it. Let's get a blast from the past and take a look at the previous video and I'll be right back at you. Today I have a gun that I'm betting none of you have ever seen before. Check it out. Now I'm just showing you one side of the gun. Take a look at all that. Oops. Oh good, you can't see a logo. Check it out, and if you know what this gun is, go to the comment section now and tell me what this is. I'm willing to bet that none of you know what this is, and you've never seen one before. So, obviously a very rare gun. They're all considered to be prototypes, and here's the name. I was worried that the logo was on there and you'd see the logo. If you collect rifles, you know that Gustav Verke made training rifles and K98s. Gustav Verke was actually a company that was run by Fritz Sauckel. So Fritz was a high-ranking party leader. He also was a Gauleiter, which is the head of an entire district, and he was an industrialist, basically very rich, owned a lot of companies, conglomerate. They made a lot of weapons as well as other supplies for the military. So he counted on being cronies with all of the party leaders, the boys club, so to speak. And they would get contracts for each other, for the military, and actually it's a theme that you see in the movie Schindler's List. He was an industrialist, he was not a party leader, but he was an industrialist that went around looking for military contracts, and for him, started out as pots and pans. He also then would go to the local concentration camp and bring workers to his factory, and that's what Fritz Sauckel did. He was very heavily involved in slave labor, but also in, basically they paid bribes. Now the way they paid bribes is they would give gifts to each other, and Fritz Sauckel, of all the people who have signed PPs and PPKs, Fritz Sauckel had the most. Basically, he would go to Walther and order guns, PPs, PPKs, have them engraved from Fritz Sauckel to whoever, and he would give them gifts in order to say, hey, I'll do this for you, what are you going to do for me? And that's how he grew his businesses, that's how he gained contracts. So this is just part of that story. So because he was making weapons, in 1939, the war was starting and they were looking for more and more small caliber weapons. Remember, they then began to increase production of the Luger, production of the PP, PPK, also the Sauer 38H and the Mauser HSC, with the latter of those being all 7.65. Of course, the Luger was 9mm, and the P38 was to come later. He was involved in making rifles, but he did want to produce a small caliber 7.6 sidearm, and he went after the military, the police, security guards, but also leaders of the different SA groups and SS groups. He was just trying to get contracts wherever he could. So what he did is he made about 100 to 200, depending on the serial numbering. They changed the way they serial numbered them, so it's hard to say for sure. But certainly between 100 and 200, they made and sent out to different people as gifts. And so you send it to the local SA chapter and say, here's 3 or 4 of these. Why don't you guys take them out and shoot them, see how you like them, and if you want to put in an order, let me know. And oh, by the way, we'll take good care of you if you put in a big order. This was very common. In fact, one of the reasons Walther got so many military contracts is, and I read from factory records, that they were expert at getting to the right people who made the decisions and making sure that those people got taken care of. So most of the SA pistols, most of the SS pistols, most of the military small caliber pistols were Walthers. And Sauer tried to get into that market as well. The Sauer 38H, I have a Sauer 38H that has an SA group on it, and yet they never had a contract to do SA groups, and that was because the factory made up a few for each SA group, showed up, the salesman shows up and says, hey, I got a gift for you, how would you like to place a contract? So that's the way business was done. And this gun was a result of that. So how did that work out? Well, in the end, it didn't work out very well. He never did get a contract for this pistol. And he also was executed at the end of the war for his participation in slave labor and the concentration camps. So why don't we take this apart, because it's kind of unique. I'm going to show you how it's very similar. Well, it has similarities to the 38H and the Walther PP PPK, but it also is very different in that it has this safety. I'm going to say this is the big ass safety, or if you're German, it would be Großasse safety. Big ass safety. Take a look at this. This is, pop it over there for, I believe that's safe, and then pop it back to fire. So this is the large safety. I'm going to show you how that works, but everything else is pretty typical of what you see in other contracts. So first of all, the grips are a two-piece instead of the one piece like the PPK. So this would be similar to the Sauer and the PP, and then there's one screw that holds it together. This then is the inside. This is what I would call a dog leg, and it's just a big lever. Now I'm going to show you what it does. This is fire and this is safe. Well, we'll double check that, because this, by the way, is the magazine bottom. And if you look at the magazine, that looks exactly like a PP magazine. Basically, could have been a PP magazine with a little curve on it, so we made a slight change there. On this, you know, the PP and PPK, you pull down here, but this is all one piece. So the frame, which is actually made of a zinc and aluminum, it's a lightweight frame, and it doesn't take finish very well. So they actually made some of these in blue. I saw one on Rock Island that sold. Here's a picture of one that has been blued, mint condition. I'm not sure the prices, but they can be anywhere from $6,000 to $9,000. This one was never finished. It also has no proof marks. No proof marks at all, because remember, it was never issued. So it was never issued. It was sent out. They were all prototypes. They were sent out for inspection and say, hey, check out this gun, take it to the range. How many thousand would you like to order? Back to this. I'm fascinated by this safety because it does work, but here's how it works. Now, you're not going to be able to see me move it, but here's the mainspring. It's actually a small mainspring compared to like the Luger or the PPK. But in order to fire it, you have to put tension in the spring. That's what causes the firing pin to fire. So we pull that down. You can say it put tension on that just by pulling that lever. We put tension on it, and then you get your glove caught in it. How many times, how many videos have I done where I get my get my gloves caught in it? So very simply, we create the tension, so like a lever, but then of course we have to cock the gun, and if we pull the trigger. Now, some of you get worried about the dry firing. It's a very soft fire, and in fact, it barely hits it. It does have a hidden hammer, but when we take the slide off, you'll see the hammer in there. That is like the 38H, which is a good feature when you're getting in and out of motorized vehicles or jets, or you know, it doesn't get caught on the hammer. But Walther liked the exposed hammer, and so they stuck with the exposed hammer. But in this case, the hammer is internal. I'll do that again. Release the tension, and it won't fire. No tension, the hammer doesn't move when you try to fire it. But when you take the safety off, there it is, then it will fire. We'll take the slide off. Now, if you look at the 38H, here's one that we're selling now. There's no hammer here. They have a completely different safety. That's more of the standard safety. This is a very unique safety. But to take the slide off, you pull this lever down. It stays down, and then you pull the slide back and off that way. Notice the spring. We'll lay that out and put this aside, because we're going to do the same thing here, but it's a little more difficult because it doesn't stay down. This is the same lever. You pull it down and it pops back up. It's on a spring. So I find this to be a little bit difficult because I have to pull it down, hold it down. And then what I noticed when I tried this on my own, it actually takes 3 fingers. So what I'm going to do, I can't pull it back, but let's turn around this way. So the way to do it, the only way I found to do it easily, honestly, is to push it into my stomach. So I pull this down and pull that back and off. And it's very simple. Let's do that again. Let's pull this back. My stomach is coming in handy, and it goes back on. Okay, let's pull it off. I'll show you the hammer. Yeah, that's awkward. You can tell that's a little bit awkward. There's the hammer. Very similar to the 38H. There you go. There's the 38H hammer. There's the Gustav hammer. And the lever on the side and the lever on the side. And remember I said notice the spring? Notice the spring. I'm not going to get it too close to each other because I'll get them mixed up. So it's even to the point where the spring is wider on the muzzle end, but on the throat end, it's where you go in the barrel, it's smaller. And that's the same here. Wider and then smaller. This is and sometimes people will put them in backwards. It does screw it up. So you want to make sure if you take apart your PP, PPK, or sour, or if you ever buy 3 or 4 Guslavs, then you're a lucky person. Put that on, and then this slides back on. Now I wanted to show you some other similarities, but this time with the PPK. All right, so you just have to look at this for a while. There's several of you who are right now writing to me and saying, I want that gun. You know this one came from my personal collection because this is the kind of gun I collect. When I buy these, I can't sell them. There is nowhere, none. And so those of you who say it's been refinished, you would be wrong. This is in brand spank me new condition, like the day it left the factory, except for the crack there. Look at that. It does have a crack on the crack there. And those are stress fractures, not from wear, there's no wear, but over time, heat, cold, they are so tight that they almost always crack. People call me and ask all the time, can you sell me a perfect Walther PPK grip? And I'll say, yes, it'll be reproduction. There are no perfect grips because every one of them you will find, and I think the day they left the factory, they'll have little stress fractures around the screw. But anyway, that's not why we're here today. Also notice the blued chamber. There are some that are blued, and that is correct. The police in the middle range were blued, but just take a look at the finish on that. It's almost like the royal blue that you find on a Colt Python. I call it royal blue. Just beautiful gun, and this is actually from the 1941 era. So this was not even the early high polish. This was 1940. But again, that's not why we're here. Now, if you remember the other one, you just pull down a lever. This one, okay, you just pull the trigger guard down and this will come off gently. We'll set this aside over here. Notice the spring, wider on one end than the other. And when you put it together, if you do it backwards, you're going to have a heck of a time trying to get the slide off. So the tight end goes in first. Now I'm going to release the tension here and take a look at this. Amazing, isn't it? They have an exposed hammer. Let's look at the other side. I could take the grip off and you'd see the rest of it, but this is the trigger bar and it is, again, almost exactly the same. So he quote unquote borrowed from other manufacturers, took a little from this and took a little from that. Notice this and that, almost exactly the same. This would be the same length as the PP barrel. PPK is just a little shorter, but if I compared it to a PP, it's just a little bit shorter. And same way with the magazine. The Gustav magazine is about the same size and mag capacity. Yep. PP is one less round. PP has one less round. The PPK will look exactly like this in size and shape, and the only difference is he added a little curve to that. That was a little finesse. I hope I don't get these parts mixed up. This Gustav, by the way, is pre-sold, so I can't offer it, but I did want to show it to you because it's just a very cool gun that you're never going to see again. And I probably won't either. I'm about to put it back together again, but I wanted to show you the serial number. and that's number 47. Most of the ones I have seen or seen pictures of are under 100. According to Ian at Forgotten Weapons, he said they go up to 200, but I'm not sure that all were issued. Some were probably flawed and thrown away, or never given away. It's either 1 or 200. This one is number 47. On the slide, it's 47 inside here. It's in there twice, actually. So it's marked inside there. Down in here, I was wondering, that's not a serial number, but that's the symbol to the left is the Gustav logo, and then next to it a 2. There's the Gustav logo, and there's a little stamp of it in there next to it too. I'm not sure the meaning of that. By the way, the covered firing pin looks exactly like a covered firing pin on a PP or PPK, but that was only in the early models. So remember, 39, they started making them. A lot of them went out, were distributed in 1940, and the war had already started. The extractor here and here, this one's a little bit larger, and that little pin behind it is what you have to take that out to get the firing pin out. And I'm sure this one works approximately the same, but you can say it's slightly different. When I said it had no proof marks, right there is the Eagle End proof from the Third Reich era, and these have no proofs, meaning it was never inspected and accepted into any of the organizations, including the military or the police. I'm so proud. I hope that was a fun ride for you, and I sure hope that these springs are interchangeable, because I might have gotten them mixed up, but oh well. Just kidding, of course. We got them all back together. I'm probably the least mechanical collector you know. So for me to take guns apart and put them back together, and with the help of my stomach, I got it done. And now it's back. A really rare gun with a very dark past. So what should I do with it? I can't help myself. I'm going to have to keep it for a while. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you like educational historical videos like this. And if you like collecting guns, go to our website, Legacy Collectibles.